from last night? No, no, no. The story of the day, if you're absolutely honest, which cuts right to the heart of it, is gloves. Up and down the country, last couple of days, everyone has piled for the drawer, or the cupboard, or the box where the gloves are, or gloves should be, let's be honest. They were there last year, but for some reason they've all got mixed up. And I was in a department store yesterday. I was basically a punch-up by the glove store, the glove stand, because everybody wanted the ones with fur lining. So here we go. With gloves, in the next few minutes, you will get all the information that you need about what makes a good glove. Deborah Moore is creative director at Dents, makers of leather goods specialising in gloves since 1777. Hello, Deborah.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
I imagine that's what... I'm very good. I imagine that's what it says on the front of your stationery, does it?
Finest gloves in the world, we think.
There you go. Well, you got to talk it up there, Deborah.
Yeah.
So if we put fashion just to one side for the moment,
yeah.
If all I'm interested in is keeping my hands warm, what should I be looking for in a glove?
Well, first of all, it's the fabulous skin, and then inside, obviously, the lining. And men like cashmere linings, and that's our favourite. That's the favourite glove for men. Right,
okay, so a cashmere lining, that will help temperature-wise. Well, obviously, it'll feel nice, but that'll keep you warm, won't it?
It will, because there's air circulation then in the glove.
Okay, so cashmere on the inside, and skin on the outside, you're saying?
Yeah, it's hair sheep. It comes from Ethiopia. It's tanned down here in the West Country by Pittards, which are considered the finest tanners of gloving leather in the world.
Because there are lots of, there are man-made fibres that you can choose from. You can, there's woolen gloves, which always look a bit weedy to me, and, I'm not sure they're going to keep you warm. What about woolen gloves there, Deborah?
We're manufacturers of leather gloves. We sell knitted gloves, woolen gloves, but really, there's nothing nicer than a fine pair of leather gloves. And we've been making, as you say, since 1777, both men's and women's.
The type of gloves I'm not that sure about, if I'm honest, are driving gloves. Never quite see the point of a driving glove, really. I know Chris Evans has talked about this before. If you've got a decent steering wheel, you don't need a glove, do you?
I think it goes back to the olden days, when the steering wheels were wooden and you had a tendency to slip. So it gave you a little bit of grip.
Yes.
But we've got a museum here in Warminster, which is a private museum, and we've got gloves going back 500-600 years, including Queen Elizabeth I's glove.
What kind of gloves did Queen Elizabeth wear then?
Well,
dainty numbers, I imagine.
They didn't bathe very often, so the gloves were often perfumed, highly decorative, and in those days it was only the very wealthy people, mainly nobility and the clergy, who could afford gloves.
How far back do they actually... I mean, you say yours go back 500-600 years. How back do they actually go into clothing history, Deborah?
Well, the earliest glove was found in King Tutankhamun's tomb, wow, which is 1350 BC. And a little-known fact was actually Shakespeare's father was a glover.
Do we need to go... If we're looking for a top glove, maybe for a Christmas present or something,
yeah,
should we be looking for a handmade glove? Would they be intrinsically better, or is machine somehow more efficient?
We traditionally hand sew gloves for men because it gives a more rugged, masculine look.
I like that.
We machine gloves for women because it gives a finer, more feminine, more elegant look.
Is that right? So the women get the machine version and the men get the handmade version?
Yeah, but each glove is cut out separately. So there's no mass production. We make gloves the same method that we've been making for 200-300 years.
Is there we were discussing this earlier, in the same way that hat makers are called milliners, is there a cool word for, an official word for the glove maker?
We're glovers.
Glovers, that's sort of disappointing, really. Really. You should have something more romantic than that.
Yeah.
Deborah, and top of the range, what's the most expensive pair you make there?
We make peccary gloves, which is a wild pig. It comes from a wild pig. And we sell those for about £300.
My goodness me, what does a wild pig glove give me that a decent ordinary pair at 20 quid would give me?
Just a very elegant, traditional glove. It's a glove that we've made for a couple of 100 years. We get gloves back after 50, 60 years that maybe need relining or a little stitch has come undone. It's a glove, it's an investment.
Deborah, really good to speak to you. Thank you very much indeed, because it is the subject of the moment. Deborah Moore, creative director at Dents, the word on gloves.
Sweet dreams are made